Well, here's a question sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Rob Fish in Newcastle, United Kingdom. Rob, you could stop sending your questions now, because he sent this one about 40 times. He recently heard a conversation with Jim Ross, and in a nutshell, he said, in regards to your AEW reviews, every time you criticize AEW, you criticize him, which he takes personally, and that you've become one of the most over heels in wrestling, despite not being on national TV currently. Rob wants to know, do you still have a good relationship with Jim Ross? And have you heard any of his recent comments about your criticisms of AEW?
Well, I heard that one that you just mentioned, because I didn't hear it. I saw it quoted on Twitter or whatever, and some of the websites that picked up on it. And don't make me feel bad. No, JR and I have not had any crosswords. We don't speak frequently these days because I'd have to say things to him I just don't want to say. But I prefer to look at it like I'm saying the things that he knows are true and he just can't because he's trying to be professional and assist these chuckle fucks and give them the benefit of his knowledge and wisdom, which they're apparently not taking on a lot of this shit. But no, honestly, I don't feel bad because I don't think that JR should take any of my criticism personally, because you and I know as well as anybody else that most of the things that I am criticizing, if JR was writing the show and hiring the talent instead of calling the show, those things wouldn't be happening to begin with, because he wouldn't put up with them either. So I don't feel like I'm criticizing him. I didn't say anything about the commentary. That's the least of my worries. They could have fucking a mime do commentary on that show, and it would still be the least of the problems that they have. After all, he's sitting next to Excalibur, so JR and Tony both sound like fucking Howard Cosell and John Cameron Swayze next to that. See, I try to get these old references in.
You're out of touch, old man.
I'm out of touch. I'm out of time, but I'm out of my head.
That song came out in 1981. You're out of touch. You're
out of touch. I'm out of time. But anyway, no, I mean, JR is nicer and more diplomatic, and also he is more able to compartmentalize these things. If his job is to announce, then he's going to announce. He will give his opinions when they're asked. He won't yell at people or force the issue down their throat. But once again, I would say 80% or maybe a little more of the things that I say are things that in a complete vacuum, if you just ask Jim Ross, what do you think about this or that, without any personal relationship with these people or business relationship or connection with them, he'd say the same thing, just not as colorfully as I do.